If I flash you my boobs, will you give me a free drink? Ma'am, I never know what I'll do until I'm in the situation. But hey, let's see how it turns out together. What can I get you? Drunk? Welcome to episode 55 of the award-winning podcast Behind Bars, Cocktails, and Wasted Nights. I'm your host, Greg. I've been working as a bartender for over 20 years, and over those years, I've seen a lot. My goal here is to share some of those high and low lights with you. Quick warning, this podcast contains sex, drugs, and some language that isn't suitable for anyone under 21 years of age, so you gotta have some ID. Well, I did it again, barbarians. I interviewed another one of my bosses. Dancing on the razor's edge, people. This time it was Patrick, the beverage director. This dude is in charge of figuring out the math of taking a glass filled with a craft cocktail and blowing it up to a keg or a Tito's bottle, all whilst keeping the ratios and flavors consistent and simultaneously maintaining product for two insanely high-volume juggernauts with minimal storage space. Remember how Bill Clinton looked after his term ended? I'm keeping an eye on him, folks. It's a lot. I'd offer assistance, but it took me 7 years to finally pass algebra. Some say I was born with a learning disability. I say it's an older brother bunk bed head injury combo. Anywhoozlebees. I kept this one short and sweet, because I'm cognizant of your commute times, and I want him back in for a sequel. And besides, he left beers here. Before we get started, you'll need a drink. For this one, I asked Patrick for a Slayer, and he delivered the groceries. I just made it, and it's goddamn ridiculous. So fucking good. Okay, get the shopping list, because it'll be worth it. Here goes. It's called Fresh to Death, written with the number 2, like if Prince named it. Okay, let's go! Grab 1 ounce of Blanco tequila. Already, we're off in the right direction. 3/4 of an ounce of cachaça. 1/2 ounce of strawberry cordial. 1/2 ounce of fresh lemon juice. 1 egg white, and 2 sprays of rose water from your atomizer. Shut it. You know you have one. Combine all that goodness into a cocktail shaker. Dry whip shake. I know you're thinking, fuck you, Greg, I'm not Ramos Gin Fizzing this, and you're not. We're doing this for like 10 seconds. Gotta get the froth going, barbarians. Then, add your ice for a little water dilution on another 10-second shake. Double strain into a rocks glass with 1 large cube. Garnish with fresh strawberries and rose petals. That's the drink, but we're not done. Immediately after preparing this cocktail, align the condom with the head of the penis, gently pinch the tip, then unroll down the shaft, because after serving this, there's going to be some phallic spelunking, and you want to play it safe. Not using a condom could result in catching one of those things you get for life, like a child. And as always, if you don't have your atomizer or rose petals handy, and didn't heed my advice and go shopping, pour a shot of blue agave, meet your plug, unpause the pod, crush and scrape a 50-yard line and nostril tube it into your face holes. Okay, barbarians. Here's Patrick. All right, everybody, welcome to the episode. I am here with Patrick, the beverage director. Patrick, welcome. Thanks for coming in tonight. Appreciate having you.
Studley, thanks for having me, man. Really appreciate it.
Oh, man, my pleasure. I work with Patrick in my current job. He's my boss, you guys. My boss is in here. He came to the studio. He's seen my nefarious lifestyle already just in like 5 minutes in my apartment. It was a big risk, but I didn't care.
No comment.
They know everything about me. It's like my on-air diary. So yeah, you're in charge of a ton of shit. Like we're like 2 high-volume bars in Colorado. Probably, I remember when we first opened, we were Uber's number 1 drop-off place, like in the restaurant category. Yeah, when they do the New Year's Day stats of the year.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like you're dealing with a huge responsibility. How's that going for you, buddy? How do you like deal with that?
No, it's fun, man. I enjoy it. I've been doing this for close to if not over a decade at this point, man. I am old when I think about it. 32.
32? Oh, my God. That's nothing, dude.
I mean...
Way to get into my range.
In this lifestyle?
Oh, yeah. No, I know. I've been doing it for like 2 decades, 2.5 decades, really.
But it's a challenge, but it's great, man. And, the crowd that we get is a fun one. And the whole point of Avanti is to kind of eliminate expectations and have a good time. And I think we do a good job of doing that. So as intense as the crowds and volume can be, I think we revel in it. We love it.
We do something that like you wouldn't think would be able to be done, which is do craft cocktails at high volume. It's like the two opposing forces, but somehow we pull it off.
We try.
Yeah, and it is a fun crowd. Not a lot of Jeopardy contestants that come in, but we get through it. So you've been doing it for a decade. How did you get into it?
I started in Los Angeles. I actually was an actor to begin with. So
what?
I'm a failed actor.
Holy shit, me too.
So just being in LA, I mean, that's what you do. It's like a gig job. So, you can bounce around from bar to bar and, still maintain a healthy lifestyle, I'll say, while, chasing down a dream. And, I always really enjoyed hospitality. I always just like loved talking to people, connecting with people, and you're just kind of fucking around, and I could never see myself in like an office setting. I could never see myself just blindly listening to someone who I, meet once a year or whatever. And I fucking hate kids. So it was like, I can't be a teacher. And, I like drinking. I like having a good time.
Right.
And it just kind of loaned itself to that. And, when I started really thinking about what I wanted my future to be, in like my mid-20s, I didn't want to like chase this dream anymore. I kind of wanted to settle down and find, a home in something I was, successful in and enjoyed doing, really.
So what were you, did you audition for anything while you were out there? Did you get auditions?
Oh, yeah. I've been in a couple commercials and stuff.
Nice, buddy. Nice.
I got a reel out there if anybody wants to go and, dig through the depths of the black web to find it. But
is it on YouTube?
Honestly, probably. I'll
put the link in the show notes. People will be able to click on it and see your work. I will absolutely do that.
I've been in a couple movies.
Movies.
Yeah. So I had success. I made money. There was a couple of years where I didn't have to bartend. I was making money doing acting. I was an actor.
You're a thespian. You're a male thespian. All right, so you're in LA, you're living healthy, but you're partying a little bit. You're doing some shots of tequila, shots of wheatgrass, breaking even.
Don't forget the wheatgrass.
No, never, dude. I used to do wheatgrass every day. Then I moved to Colorado, no wheatgrass. My hair turned gray. That's what happened. So you must have seen some shenanigans in LA. I mean, that's a crazy place. Yeah, give me something wild that's gone down. I used to work in Burbank at the karaoke bar Dimples.
Oh my god, I actually know where that is.
Dude, it was brutal. I saw the weirdest shit, dude. The weirdest shit.
Burbank's a strange area, man. You get some weirdos up there. There's a lot of hopers and dreamers, I'll say.
Oh my god, yeah, dude. But like we would get like Britney Spears would come in, not be able to sing her own song. Lex Luthor from Smallville would come in, like all these like commercial actors. Mr. Belding I became friends with, like all this shit.
Man, I'm jealous of that.
Oh yeah, I got to show you a little pilot I made with him. Me and him have scenes. Yeah, he did it for free because he liked the script so much. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But anyway, back to you. So you're in LA, you're working, you've seen some weird shit. Give me an example, because it gets weird out there.
Man, it does get weird, I'll tell you. Some of the crazier stuff, just like broad stroke, I mean, like, we would have these transients that would absolutely go mad. I mean, I had this one guy I worked at a bar on Sunset Boulevard, really popular boulevard in Los Angeles, for all you that don't know.
Don't tell me it's Saddle Ranch.
I actually did work at Saddle Ranch.
Bull ride!
Yes, bull rides. $5 unless you can shake it. So.
Oh my god!
But we'd have these guys that, I mean, like, they'd throw chairs at windows. They'd just start, grabbing things off of people's plates, and
whoa,
it was kind of freaky. But you see it so often, you become desensitized to it, and it almost becomes comical because you have so many tourists, and like they feel like they're in the jungle, like they're so endangered.
Yeah,
and you just know, you're like, no, nothing's gonna happen.
This isn't the Hollywood I saw on TV.
Exactly.
No, definitely not.
It doesn't smell like I imagined it would.
No, I didn't know Colfax Avenue connected to Sunset Boulevard. That's crazy. That's weird.
Oh, man.
So what are some of the places? So you worked at Saddle Ranch. I always wanted to like be the guy that yelled bull ride and put the girls on the bulls and like make it all slow for them, and then put the guys get on and they just like give them whiplash.
I mean, that's like honestly what they tell you to do. They're just like, let the people that want to be on there, aka the, underage fake ID girls, let them ride, and then throw the dudes off as fast as you can. Nobody wants to see that.
No,
shit.
Get the girls back on there. Yeah. Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, I mean, I worked in Saddle Ranch. I worked all over. Worked in Beverly Hills at this beautiful jazz club that the hoitiest of the toity would be at. But my favorite bar I worked at was this little place, this French bistro in Franklin Village, which is this like little 3-block radius of Hollywood that, weirdly enough, is like the home of a ton of like B, C, and D-list celebrities. I don't want to offend anybody by saying that, but like Charlie Day would come in a lot, Danny Masterson, Michael Pena,
shit.
Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher.
They're not going to hear this, don't worry. We're going to be fine.
And like, you get to see, and like, amongst a lot of other stars, and you just kind of get to have this like interaction with these people not at this level of like you're working an event at like a cocktail party and it's all stuffy and they're kind of on their best behavior. This was a place that was really quick. I think our max capacity was like 70 people.
Oh, nice.
Been around since 1969, and these guys were like letting loose. So you kind of got to see a little bit behind the curtain of some of Hollywood's biggest and brightest.
That's fucking awesome. And like the whole policy is right. Like you don't say anything. You come in, you don't tell anybody anything, right?
Oh, they made us sign a contract. Like, you can't take pictures, you can't acknowledge it,
wow.
You can't do anything. I mean, obviously, people broke that rule, but, we were a quaint staff. Like I said, it's a small place, so the staff was small, too. And, if you couldn't hack, they got rid of you fast. It was just like, you're either going to be able to do it or you're not going to be here very long.
We need more, like, get voted off the island places. There's a lot of, like, fucking, oh, you're a snowflake, and let's give you another chance.
Hey, those places are successful, man.
Yeah, the places where people actually show up on time. I mean, we have a channel called I'm Going to Be Late.
It's the most popular channel.
It is. I muted it. So I used to be an informant for Star Magazine.
Get at it.
I would like run into the bathroom and be like, "Oh my God, Jessica Simpson's here. Get down here with some cameras."
Man,
I was supposed to do that. Never signed anything, but I made like $300 a pop.
I always wanted to do that. I was always so utterly tempted to do that.
Oh yeah, it's like, I mean, when Kiefer Sutherland came in and pulled his pants down, I was telling this British guy the next day the whole story, and then after the end of the story, he's like, "What's your social security number?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I work for Style Magazine. I'm going to give you a check." I was like, "Whoa."
Hell yeah.
He gave me his card. He's like, "Let me know." I'm like, "I'll let you know."
Trusting guy.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Fallen for that trick before.
No, I actually got paid and became a thing. Yeah, but it was kind of stupid in retrospect to do that.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And so you were in LA for how long?
I was there for about 10 years.
Are you from there?
No, I'm originally from Chicago.
Oh, shit. You went directly to LA from Chicago?
I moved around a lot. My parents were, they were hippies, and they didn't love to keep down a job, to keep that at a
fuck yeah,
at an even pace. But
that's cool.
So I was actually born out in Queens, where most of my extended family's from. We lived in New Jersey, New York, and then moved to Chicago. Stayed in Chicago throughout like middle school and high school, and then I went back actually to New York City for college. I went to the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts. So I'm not lying to you when I tell you.
No, that's intense.
It was fun. I mean, by intense, if you mean expensive and not worth it, then yeah, it was.
Oh no, I meant like you actually you got your chops, like you cut your teeth for real.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they throw you in the thick of it. They give you actual
like theater monologues, fucking.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a film and television school. They focus on actually, doing acting for film and television, which, ironically enough, I shouldn't say ironically, but weirdly enough, is so different than acting on the stage. Like, it's...
You gotta be bigger and louder and more cartoonish on stage.
You kind of have to paint the picture really blatantly on stage. And when I say blatantly, like, within the skill set of, an actor where it doesn't seem blatant, but you're doing a lot.
Money Man! Money Man! It's my one-man show. Go on down, check it out. It's called Money Man.
I'll go see it.
All right. So your parents, was this based on where the Dead was performing, or is this like you guys just...
Oh, man, you say that my dad is a huge Deadhead. He actually just saw Dead & Company in Arizona a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice. I love that. So, hallucinogenics when you were a kid then, I imagine? Hallucinogens? Sorry, I always say genics. I don't know why I do that.
I didn't really experiment with that stuff until, I think, like, probably freshman year of college, maybe senior year of high school, but I feel like more like freshman year of college. And, I had a buddy that... he got into it actually at the University of Colorado Boulder, and he came back with stories and with some supplies.
Oh, nice.
Kind of just painted the picture for all of us that we're down to listen, and man, that was a life changer.
Oh yeah, totally. Ask Aaron Rodgers. I credit psychedelics for making me awesome on the field.
Hey man, if he gets the Jets to the playoffs, take as many shrooms as you need, my man.
Is that your team now because of the New York thing? Or
they've been my team. Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, my entire life.
You had foot fetish Rex Ryan there for a little while. That was pretty great.
Oh, I loved Rex Ryan. He could stare at my feet as long as he played. As long as he coached that defense, he could stare at my feet.
Oh, that's hilarious. So, all right. So, L.A., Chicago. What brought you to Denver? How'd you end up here?
I was kind of like I had this weird happenstance at in LA where I was working for a company for a couple years that I loved. under the direction of this guy Brian Evans. Shout out to Brian.
Brian,
who's a real one. And this guy's he's just a genius when it comes to cocktail curation and mixology. Even though I hate that fucking word, but
Coctology.
Coctology. I like that way.
Let's use that one.
And I thought that I would work for this company for a long time. I got in kind of on the ground floor level. They're based out of New York, and they expanded to LA. Now they're past that, they're in London. They're multi-continental, which I think is a phrase. But we got bought out of a contract that we had in hotels. Long story, no need to go into it. But we basically all got laid off because our contracts all got bought out, and the lease was up on my apartment in Los Angeles, and my ex and I decided we were not going to be together anymore. So
let's do it. Yeah,
I was at this crossroads where I could have just started over in LA, which I had ample opportunity to, obviously living there for a decade. But my best friends Ryan and Jeff, they lived out here, and one of my other best friends, Aaron, he lives out in Vail, and I'd always loved coming to Colorado. I used to come out here yearly to go to Red Rocks, honestly, just to go see shows and hang out, and I just always enjoyed it and loved it. And Ryan was like, hey, man, why don't you just move out here for a little bit, see if you like it. If you don't, fuck off, move somewhere else. And if you do, hey, new beginning. So been out here for 2 years now, and it's been great.
And you're crushing it, dude.
I'm trying.
No, you are. You're in charge of 2 fucking huge fucking places.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, lightning round.
Let's do it.
You ever have to clean puke?
Yes.
You ever have to throw anybody out physically?
Yes.
You ever bang a chick in the liquor room?
Yes. Not this one.
We're the same. All right, so far we're 3 for 3. Let's see. You ever have to call the cops on somebody?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Too many times.
All right, let's go back to the banging the chick in the liquor room. How'd that happen?
Actually, it wasn't even at a bar I was working at. It was.
Oh, that's even better. So you went back employees only.
Oh yeah,
and you weren't an employee, so that's double secret probation.
Yeah, I got to see the secret areas of this restaurant. It was out in L.A. and it's funny. I was with one of my good buddies out there, Dave. Who I love. That guy's one of my favorites, and. I'm going to actually side off and do a different story because this actually ties in super well. So we were working at this bar, really quaint, the French place I was talking about, and this really attractive girl with short hair comes in, and I'm 23, I feel pretty invincible all the time. So I was like, let me go for it. I'll say what's up. I'm going to serve her a drink anyway. And we start shooting the shit, and we start talking, and start getting into conversation, and start learning that she's just in town for a little bit, and she's here all the time, but she doesn't like to live here, and she travels a lot, and she's asking me about my life, and it's going really well. And she ends up turning around to talk to somebody that she came in with, and I go to Dave, who I was bartending with that night, and I say, man, I think I really got a shot with this girl. And he's like, yeah, you think so? I was like, yeah. He's like, man, you should go for it. Absolutely. And he was, being overly encouraging, which I always loved Dave for. And then, I go back, we start talking more, we're shooting the shit, and it's getting a little flirty. She's, seems like she's batting her eyes at me. She's laughing at my jokes. She turns around again. She goes to do something. I go to Dave. I'm like, I think I'm just going to ask her for her number and try to hook up with her later tonight. Maybe take her, to a bar later. And he was like, you really want to go and try and do that? I was like, yeah, what do you mean? He's like, that's fucking Anne Hathaway, man.
Fuck, dude.
It's like, I don't think she's going to say yes.
Whoa, dude, whoa.
Wow. So, me being me, I was like, I even knowing that knowledge, I might as well try it. And I was like, I'd love to give you my number. And she was like, that is so sweet. She's like, I am flattered, but unfortunately I cannot accept. And she turned away. And it was honestly very nice of her. So, to do that, after that, I felt a little heartbroken. So Dave and I closed the bar down, and we go to a little bit of a late night spot. And I started talking to that bartender, tell the story, till I was talking to Anne Hathaway. Maybe I embellished the story slightly, and I think it caught the girl's interest. And she was like, "Hey, can you come help me change a keg real quick?" And this is a bar that all the bartenders are female, but there's definitely security guards around, and every bar back there is 6'4" and looks like the Hulk. And I was like,
different species than barbacks, yeah.
Those guys are insane. And so she's like, can you help me change the like that? Is that allowed? And she's like, I'm making it allowed.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, it is on. And then she took it from there. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I was the beta in that situation.
Nice.
And it was
changed the Kegel. Yeah, good for you, buddy. That's awesome.
It was a good day.
I love that.
You lose one, you get one.
And who'd you have to call the cops on?
Man, we had to call the cops all the time. I mean, probably the worst one was I had a fake ID situation, and this kid, I mean, he looked like he was 17, but he was at a big table. It seemed like it was family and friends, and, you know, so we're IDing everybody, and, you know, my server at the time, she comes up to me, she's like, yeah, I think this ID's fake. She gives it to me. You know, we have an ID book, obviously, and go through it. I find a couple inaccuracies with it. So I'm like, yeah, it's probably fake. You know, I'm not going to absolutely say it is, but it's probably fake.
Yeah,
so.
we're not TSA, but also they spelled Massachusetts wrong.
3 S's. So, you know, I tell her, I'm like, you know, tell him it's fake, and, you know, we have to keep it unless, you know, he wants to call the police to come down and authenticate the ID. And if that's the case, I'd be happy to buy him around and apologize and, you know, try to make it right. So she goes over and, you know, she comes back very quickly and she's like, you know, they're not having it. You know, can you please go talk to him? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I go over there and I'm like, hey, folks, I'm really sorry, but, you know, we have reason to believe that this ID is fraudulent. You know, with our liquor license and everything, we are kind of obligated to keep it, which is not 100% true, but, you know, you say that.
Sure.
But, you know, I was like, we're obligated to keep it. You know, I'm like, you're more than welcome to call the police to have them come authenticate it if we're wrong. You know, I will absolutely admit that. You know, I'll make it right for you guys. But, you know, unfortunately, we cannot serve your son at this time. And the son just starts losing his mind. You know, he's, you know, throwing a hissy fit. And he looks like he's like 16, so it just looks like even more of a child.
Yeah, no, you look definitely under 21. Yeah,
yeah, he's screaming, he's swearing, he's going all out.
His GI Joes all over the place.
So he's really going for it, and he ends up getting in, you know, pretty close to me and kind of, you know, trying to touch chest. And he was shorter than I am. I mean, I'm 6'2", but, you know, he was shorter than I am, and I wasn't necessarily afraid of this man physically, or this boy, I should say. And I was like, look, man, yeah, I just need you to leave, man. It's not a big deal. Like, I need you to go buy another fake, whatever. If it's real, I'm sorry. Get the cops over here. I'm sorry, man. Like, but you got to go. And, you know, he starts getting more in my face. And then, you know, I call it. And I'm like, hey, I'm gonna call the police if I have to. And as soon as I say that, the dad stands out.
Oh, boy, the whole family.
And he said, oh, you want to call the police? I'll give you a reason to call the police. And he gets in my face and he says, you're going to give my son his fucking ID back, or I'm going to take it out of your scrawny F-word hands.
You can say fuck.
It's the other F word. Should I say it? I mean,
yeah, say it.
He said, I'm going to...
Oh, yeah, you got it.
Yeah, and I'm like...
Isn't that fucked up? We can't... All right, anyways.
That's a different pot.
Yeah, different episode.
But, you know, I'm just like, sir, that is... You got to go, man. I'm like, this is insane. And I start, you know, just kind of backing up. And he gets closer to me, and he tries to grab the ID out of my hand, because I still have it in my hand. And, you know, luckily I had this great security guard, Chewy, who, you know, shout out Chewy if he's listening for whatever.
Chewy!
But, you know, he jumps into action, grabs the dude, puts him on the ground, and then the son comes for me. He jumps on my back.
Oh, my God.
2 of my bartenders come. We throw him off. The mom is sitting the entire time, just facing her hands.
Yeah, because
just absolutely embarrassed, but not also doing anything. I'm like,
yeah, because like,
why are you still sitting here?
Probably
shouldn't you leave?
Probably.
So long story short, we call the cops. I give the cop the guy's ID, and I'm just like, he doesn't think I should think this is fake. And the cop, God bless him, I love this man to death. He pulls the corner of the ID, rips off the plastic part.
Nice.
That's obviously a fake, in like a very tall tale sign of a fake. Rips it off. And he's like, here, give this back to him. It's just a blank piece of, you know, magnetic ID, whatever it's called.
Nice. There you go. There's your ID, kid.
And they both got arrested that night. So
yes,
it was very fulfilling.
And then the poor mom who probably gets whooped had to go bail him out.
Oh God. Oh man. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's just sitting there not doing anything. You know what I mean?
Truly, just
being passive, like submissive.
The rest of the table cleared out. I'm pretty much as soon as that kid stood up and was arguing about the idea, the rest of the table just cleared out. They all left.
Oh, God,
just the mom, the dad, I think one other guy, and it didn't end well.
I can't stand when the kids come into the bar. You know what I mean, with the family.
Well, this also just wasn't a place to
try to drink.
Go to a dive bar, man.
Yeah. And they probably wouldn't even have checked. You know what I mean? Just
honestly,
drink.
You know?
Yeah. A lot of legal shit goes down in bars. Give me your craziest like bar story, like Chicago, LA, Denver, like because I do the podcast to like let people who aren't in the service industry like hear the shit that we go through that doesn't happen in offices. You know what I mean? It's like this is our job. Like we're on the clock getting paid. And then this weird shit goes down. Like, this is not going to happen to a project manager.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I mean,
that's crazy right there. You get attacked by a father-son combo. It's like a tag team. Chewy and the bartenders come in for the rescue. I'm just like... But, yeah, like, nobody... Like, you're a project manager. Nobody, like, hurls on your desk and you gotta like clean it
Yeah.
up. You know, like we're not a nurse.
I mean, probably the craziest story I could tell, and I wasn't like super directly involved in this. I was super young, and I had just moved to Los Angeles, so I think I was maybe there for like 3 years. This is like one of my first bartending gigs at this really small place in downtown LA, which, you know, you think it's dirty now. It was still dirty like 10 years ago. So it was this really nice, I'm just going to say, it was Umami Contestant of Umami Burger. They had this nice, like, it was supposed to be this really nice.
Oh, yeah, I love Umami Burger.
Yeah.
They had a great one on
they started
Cahuenga. They had one.
Exactly. I think that was the original one. So, I mean, they had this really nice one in downtown called Umami Contestant where they did like...
Right next to Urban Outfitters.
It was. And they had, you know, like a butcher and a deli, and like, you know, the food was supposed to be ultra fresh, and it wasn't just burgers, and, you know, it was a really beautiful space. So there was like, you know, basically outside of the dining area, it was the only place you could dine on one floor, and we had an upstairs and 2 basement levels. So one of the basement levels was essentially like a prep kitchen and a commissary. So, you know, no one ever went there, but the bottom basement level was kind of like what we called the bat cave, where, you know, all the employees had their lockers, and we'd go down there. So I was closing one night, and I went downstairs to grab something out of the bat cave, and I don't remember what it was, but I just hear this like rustling and bustling in the corner, and we had one single bathroom down there that was for everybody, and, you know, obviously, you know, it was just for employees, so, you know, stuff would go down, but, you know,
Right.
so I started hearing stuff, and I'm like, oh man, like somebody's doing some stuff in there, and it was just sounding like people fucking, and I was like, oh man, that's great. So I go up and I grab my other bartender, like we're closing down, so there's like, you know, nobody in there. It was a weekday night, super, you know, nothing happening, and I go and tell my bartender, I'm like, yeah, go down, someone's down there, and then, you know, it dawns on me, I'm like, well, who could it be? So it was, you know, the only people there, like our kitchen had already been closed, so all of the prep cooks, all of the dishwashers, all of them are gone. It's just the bar open, and the only 3 people there were me, my bartender Anival, and our barback Luis, and I'm like, who is down there? And I just
missing? Yeah.
And I just sent Anival down there to go check it out, and then I'm talking to Luis about it, and I'm like, wait a minute, like who the fuck is down there? So I go down there with Luis, and Anival, you know, is laughing, and he's humming up, and I'm like, wait, but who is? Do you know he's in there? He's like, I have no idea. So I'm like, those have to be fucking random people. So we go down there, and like, you know, we still hear everything, and I'm like, we have to figure out what's going on. So we're like, and Anival, like, bless his heart, he's like, well, should we wait?
Yeah, we see let them come out, let them finish.
Yeah, like, should we let them finish? Like, should they just come out and
hilarious.
Like, so, and like I said, like, I'm like literally like, I'm like freshly 21, and I'm like, I'm still kind of innocent. I'm like, no, this is wrong. Like, they're not supposed to be down here. Like, yeah, you know, there's a safe down here. There's money. Like, we can't be doing this. So
They're breaking the law.
I go, and I'm like, I'm just gonna knock on the door. Just like,
You guys need a third?
It's like, excuse me. Excuse me. It's just like, obviously nothing's happening. They're still going at it. And then I'm just like, I don't know what to do. So I just bang on the door. And I don't even say it. I just bang on the door like twice. And they stop, and you can hear the guy, and they go, shh, 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 shh.
Like, I can hear you.
And literally, I'm like, we're closed upstairs. All the doors are locked. So you guys gotta get the fuck out of here. And I kid you not, the dude just like opens the door. His pants are still at his ankles. He has his like underwear pulling up. The girl is in like a dress mini skirt, and like her underwear's at her ankles.
Is it Anne Hathaway? Just kidding.
And it's just like, I am so sorry. We're gonna leave. And these people were so out of their fucking mind. They didn't even realize they went down 2 flights of stairs, past lockers, past jackets, past walk-in fridges and freezers, and just found a bathroom somehow.
It was meant to be. We got to fuck here.
My other thing was like, man, how'd you get it up that fucked up?
Yeah.
Good for that guy.
Yeah.
I wasn't even mad.
Seriously. Yeah, kind of proud of you, but also get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out. I mean, they left. I'm not going to lie. They were more embarrassed than we were impressed.
Well, unlike those two who weren't able to finish, I feel like that's a good place to finish. Everybody, that was Patrick, the beverage director. We're going to have him back because I know he's got even more stories. And check it out on Patreon because we're about to do a Counterpoints, and we're going to drop that in the next week. Thanks so much, Patrick, for coming in. I really appreciate you.
Dudley, thanks for having me, man. Anytime.
Yeah, buddy. All right, we're going to say bye to everybody. Cheers, you guys.
Cheers, guys.
Well, it's last call, so let me give you a tip. When buying others' drinks, remember that while you're being so generous and cool, You're eliminating their tip from my take, so make sure to go big when we wrap it up. I'm glad we had this talk. I feel richer for the experience. Folks, it's been a blast. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And a call to my fellow booze slingers. Send in your stories to cocktailsandwastednights@gmail.com. You can remain anonymous if you'd like. Thanks for listening, subscribing, downloading, and spreading the word. Don't be afraid to give me a good review, even if you're lying. It really does help build our community of barbarians. And check out my video, Just Close It on YouTube. You will laugh, damn it. If you want to support the podcast, you can do that on Patreon. Link is in the show notes. We'll see you next time on Behind Bars, Cocktails and Wasted Nights. Cheers.